I've not done one of these for a while. Hi, I'm Stevie C and the place to be, and you've already seen the thumbnail for this video. So this is your last chance. If you know you're going to be offended, stop watching now. Anywho, this is another LED PCB designed to be installed into a repurposed RGB LED Floodlight that's gone kablamo. The circuitry is identical to the previous version, but if Technology Connections can make the same video year after year with only minor updates, then so can I. For those of you that need a reminder, it's just two series strings of LEDs, with the power supplies literally just mirrored on the PCB itself. I've designed the power supply to support either a capacitor dropper with a discharge resistor as well as a resistor to act as an inrush limiter and as a fuse, or two resistors rated for the drive current and power dissipation. Typically these would be half-watt carbon film resistors rated for 350 volts, which covers our peak mains voltage, whereas quarter-watt variants are only rated for 250. After the current limiting stage, which operates on AC, there's a full-wave bridge rectifier composed of four 1N4007s to convert AC to the DC that LEDs require, along with a smoothing capacitor to reduce ripple and a bleed resistor. The output of each supply feeds a series string of 81 LEDs. I'll be using RGB slow color fade LEDs. I'll assume the combined forward voltage to be anywhere from 259 to 324 volts, depending on what color is lit at the time. Again, depending on the color, it leaves between 16 and 81 volts to be dropped by the power supply. I've done some calculations to show various values of film capacitor or resistor, along with the dissipation in the case of the resistors. If I was using a capacitor, I'd probably use a value of 680 nanofarads, giving a drive current somewhere in the region of 3 to 17 milliamps. If I was using resistors, I would use 2 times 4.7K, given between 1.7 and 8.6 milliamps as a drive current, with a power dissipation of about a third of a watt per resistor. In theory. So, as ever, I'll paint the PCB black, then solder everything in order of height, and probably play FreeCell occasionally. I was asked in the comments of the last version of this PCB about why I didn't make one for labour. The answer is very simple. I was commissioned to make a Tories PCB, just like I've been commissioned to make a fartage one now. I'll happily take commissions for any motto, priced accordingly of course. I'm not going to make a big speech about the politics, okay? I could present verified facts and evidence, but I'll just get told to f*** off. I'll get called names, I'll receive phony reviews of my business claiming one of my products that I didn't even sell someone somehow killed their child. I'll receive death threats, and yes, I have evidence of all of the above. Then, the same people abusing me will whinge and whine that the nasty Lefty said hearty words. Anywho, that's a video for another time. We all know how much the far right love freedom of speech and freedom of expression, until you say something they don't like. They simultaneously blame the left for cancel culture, yet anything they don't like, and it's a very, very long list, they want it banned. Anywho, back to me. So I've tacked some hookup wires on for the first genuine test. Usual disclaimer, this might work or it might go kablamo. That was a genuine first test. But I don't know why some of them start up with different colours. I have genuinely no idea. Maybe it's static discharge that the soldering iron grounds off and then that jumps the chips somehow. I don't know, it's above my pay grade. So now that's the scary bit over. I've got to rip out the borked RGB PCB from the Floodlight case, remove the small amount of heatsink shmoo, attach the plastic pillars to the PCB, and feed the cable through the gland. See the skid mark, you can instantly tell that's borked. This is a common issue I find when performing PAT testing, when people have screwed into the outer protective sheath and not the copper. You might get a connection, but it's not going to be the best connection. My glue gun's not heating up. Why can't there be a power indicator on here? My glue gun is rated for 110 to 240 volts. Could we photonic it on 415, I wonder? I'll get in. Okay, we're pulling power. It's currently 3 Celsius in here for the 5 people that are watching. Oh yeah, take it off. That's what happens when you use shit tape. Un momento, por favor. Right. I've given up with that and found another one to demonstrate my point, hopefully. So this is much better tape. Oh yeah. Peels off with very little residue. So I don't know how well that comes out in camera, but yeah, 4.5 watts. Power factor, 0.5. Again, 2 capacitive droppers, yeah. I might as well PAT test it. Yes, I know my PAT tester is out of calibration, but wasn't Brexit all about removing red tape? Slightly high, but if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you disliked this video, that button does something too. Comment below, but only after you've watched the whole video. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.